Okay, the purpose of this little video is to, in addition to my other video on some points that I lost out on, we're going to use Google Maps to show positioning, angle, measurements. We're going to use their own video to show some other things, their own pictures from the day of the raid, what mature plants look like, what beginning flower plants look like, and the history, weather history for that day. So starting with measurements here, we're going to show you that Detective Haynes said he was walking westbound on the sidewalk. He stopped and he looked through the gaps in the wooden fence. Through the gaps of the wooden fence, he could clearly see, okay, marijuana plants growing in the backyard. He told me the plants were at least 6 feet tall, and he could smell the strong smell of fresh marijuana coming from the residence, and that the marijuana was taller than the cement fence separating the two places. So he was standing approximately right here because of the angle. That's the only place he could have. He looked up a 2-foot incline of a driveway, okay, 25 feet up to a 1/4 inch gap, a 2-foot incline to a 6'8" wall. That makes that 8 foot 9 inches because it was a 2-foot 1 inch incline. All the way down about 80 to 100 feet away, somehow sees plants that are taller than the wall. Now again, I want to make sure that you understand that there's 18 days of growth between the day that he came by and saw that and the day that I have pictures of from the raid. Okay. Now another note: 3 days earlier on that Sunday, my son's birthday. There's 30 people here, firefighters, teachers. They didn't see anything over there either. It's all blocked. They didn't smell anything, nothing. The wind, he said the strong smell of marijuana. The wind that day, here's Camarillo. This is taken from right around the corner from me. I'm going to refresh the page so you know I didn't create it myself. This is August 19th, 2016, Friday. The wind was 5 miles an hour, max wind speed 13 miles an hour. It was an average wind speed of 10. And from the south to southwest, that's what I wanted to put. West, from the west, southwest. So looking back at the map, north is always at the top for Google Maps, so Detective Haynes is north. Here's west to southwest. That's the wind blowing right across there. Okay? So again, it's blowing away from him. Scientists, hunters all know odor has to be carried to you on the wind unless you're right next to the odor. And we contend there was no odor because it was immature stuff. But he's up north, and every scientist, every hunter knows that an animal downwind from you, you're downwind from an animal, they're going to smell you. If you're upwind from them, you're not going to smell you. So it's pretty basic science, very provable, very easy. There are 3 salvia plants right up here and 1 down here, and they all smell like skunk weed, and they've all been confused by smell of that. And that was blowing right to him. That's the only excuse he has for the smell. But as far as saying that he could see over what is effectively an 8 foot 9 inch wall, I hope he is taller than 8 feet 9 inches. If he's not, then there's something going on. Now looking at their own website, their own pictures from the day of the raid. This is 18 days after he said he saw plants growing that were taller than the wall. This is the wall. You see that the top of the greenhouse is effectively the height of the wall. Are they taller than the greenhouse? No. Only in this one little section did I let them grow out to the side because it was blocked by the table and the office. These are 3 little ones that are way out to the side. This is the salvia plant that I was talking about that smells just like skunkweed. Now, infamous white corner. That is by the angle. That's the first thing that you can see. And we show that you have to be almost 11 foot tall from the sidewalk just to even see that much of the corner. At the fence line, you have to be almost 7.5, 8 foot tall in order just to see that much of the corner, right? So it's pretty identifiable. The buds here are just all white little hairs, okay? They're not mature, they're not stinking. Beginning flowering stage, see all the white little puffy hairs and everything else. Mature stage, see all the dense body, the red hairs, the crystals. That's when it can start stinking, all right? But we contend, because we do have evidence, they left me about 1 ounce in the lawn, and it shows how immature the marijuana is, which means there was no smell. and even if there was smell, the wind was blowing it completely away from him. Now, using their own website, I'm going to show you their own website. I keep on saying website. Their own file, their own video file from the day of the raid, looking right down the fence line through the gaps. Can you see anything? No. Now, opening the door, right down the line, there's the table blocking everything, air conditioning unit, salvia plant, avocado plant. Do you see a greenhouse? No. Do you see the 3 little marijuana plants? No. Moving forward, they assumed that I had an air conditioning unit up here. It was for temperature control of a grow room, one of the multiple felonies that they assumed was going on the property, because they can tell the difference between illegal and legal weed by looking at it. I don't know how. Maybe they have a little green card. Ha ha ha. Here's my office. There's the fish tank, never been used for a grow room. Okay? Coming around the corner, I'm going to show you something. There's my greenhouse. There's the bamboo wall that blocked everything. I just took this piece down the day of the raid. There's my prescription. There was a prescription posted on the other side for this lady who's called the cops on me like 4 times already, for her to see it. And there was also a prescription posted there when police came and hassled me about the tree, and were looking through these gaps in the fence, saw a greenhouse covered with plastic in November, but they didn't want to come over and look at my prescription or anything else. They were there about the tree. An hour and a half later, after being detained illegally, I said I was going to put a complaint in on them. They don't like that very much. They got all hostile and proceeded to threaten to arrest me. Now, 18 days later of growth, when Detective Haynes came by, these plants were probably down here, because now they're way up at the top. That's 18 days of growth, because these things will grow about a foot in those 18 days at this height. Do you see them popping out over the top? No. There are a couple little pieces on this side, but totally blocked from the street by the office. Here's a 12-foot plus tall lavender plant on the far edge of my office, yet from the street where Detective Haynes said he could see everything, could not even see the plant, and that shows it on the video as well. So again, there's some things that are, you know, being stated on the search warrant affidavit that were completely wrong, fabricated, and all it has to do with is there was another incident just 10 months before that where a drug dealer was sitting here associated with this house here. I called the cops 5 times. Short story, he had a scanner. He was leaving all the time. I ended up getting in a fight with the dispatch lady, who's the same dispatch lady that took the quote-unquote witness statement, who said that they could see marijuana growing in my backyard for months, but they did not know me. I know all of my neighbors. I know Sandy, I know myself, I know these guys, I know the old people here, I know Sonia, I know this is the lady that's called the cops on me 5 times. I've got affidavits from them that said they never called or seen anything. I got affidavits from him saying that the RV was there and he never called or did anything. I know all my neighbors, and none of them can see into my backyard for months. So it's a false witness statement, because I called the police over here and got into a fight with dispatch lady and told dispatch that I was going to go down to City Hall and put a complaint on the entire sheriff's office. And I have pictures and all kinds of things to prove it. So, you know, when they come after you say you're going to put all of them and make a complaint on all of them to City Hall, and 10 months later you're being illegally searched and seized in your home, it kind of makes you wonder what the motivation was. That's all I have to say. Thank you very much. Okay, purpose of this is to recreate their investigation that happened on August 19th when Detective Larry Worry and Detective Greg Hines said they drove by the residence and through that fence right there between the RV and the brown house, my house, they could see my shed with my office. That's all they could see. Detective Hines then walked westbound on this sidewalk right here, and I have the only spot really that he could have quote-unquote had any angle or anything with that ladder. And what we're going to do today is basically walk through and just show how line of sight, there was no way that he could even do what he said he did. I'm going to read it. He walked by the residence from east to west while walking westbound on the sidewalk, and looking through the gaps of the neighbor's fence. Now again, I got this, you know, I'm going to zoom in there. Those gaps are less than a ½ inch thick, wide. Some are only a 1/4 of an inch or less. There's only one or two that he could have looked through. And the biggest being down below here, right there in the middle, which only increases the angle of going up into the wall and then over the wall, which I will show you. The only real angle that might have happened with this RV here, might have happened, is through the upper crack. I mean, really, the angle only increases going up and over the wall, which is humanly impossible, which that's what we're going to show. I also have an affidavit from my neighbor saying that and I also know that the motorhome was there the entire month of August. Now, moving over, Mr. Trump is at 6'8" height, eye vision 6'6". You can see the string clearly going up. Why is it going up? Well, we have a 2-foot incline right here. I've already measured it. You can see the line measure. It was 2 foot 1 inch. As you can clearly see, it goes right to the bottom of the fence. We're gonna walk up here. Now look, here's the line going up to the 6'8" wall. So you got 2 foot plus a 6'8" wall. That means that's 8 foot 8 inches from the sidewalk. All right. Now I don't know how tall Detective Hines is. He could be really, really, really tall. I don't know. Now, moving up, you can see how the line is clearly below the line of the wall. So it goes up and over the wall. And from the police-owned video, they came through. Excuse me, I got a very loud truck going by. From the police-owned video, they had this video shot going right down the side, and they couldn't see any plants. There were no plants taller than the picnic table there that was blocking the only eye vision, because I already looked at this line of sight a long time ago, and I purposely put that there late July. June, July, yeah, late July. Anyway, so when on the own police video, they came in right through this gate, and you couldn't see anything right down the line. You couldn't see any plants. They're not close to the wall. I'll show you that. And you can clearly see this line is actually headed down, and I have it tied to a piece of PVC that's connected to the greenhouse that is actually much farther out than any of the plants were out, according to their own video and pictures. Okay, so I'm going to just show you again these gaps here. I mean, I'm going to zoom in and just try to show you, and this is right on top of it. Okay, you can't, it's humanly impossible. Okay, backing out, I had this measurement post here. It goes all the way up to 9 foot tall. Okay, and what I'm going to show you is right here at the gate, which he said he was not at the gate. He stayed on the sidewalk and looked through the gaps of the fence, which we know are, you know, here's a tape measure, right? It's less than 1/4 inch wide, you know. Okay, now at 6 foot, right over the top, I'm going to call the infamous white corner of the greenhouse, which I will show you later. Do you see any white corner of a greenhouse? The painted greenhouse, which I will show you later. You see the air conditioning vent, which they said they saw, and I see the big avocado tree and the wall. This is at 6 feet at the gate. Now, let's go up. That's at 7 foot. Okay, that's at 7 foot. Looking right at the mark. 7 foot. Boom, 7 foot, cannot see anything. Going up to 8 foot. 8 foot, you start to see the top left-hand corner of the greenhouse at 8 feet at the fence line. Now, just moving back here. Again, he never came to the fence. He said he saw it all from the sidewalk, which Again, we had Mr. President Trump down there on the ladder. And we're gonna see if we can even see the ladder where President Trump from the other side, from the reverse angle. So we're gonna come through here. And as on the police video, they came right down through here, just like this. And they could not see even the 3 little plants that were outside of the greenhouse that we're going to look at pictures from their own pictures. Okay? Now moving in. The day of the raid, my office was completely open, just like it is now. And one of Larry Orwee's assumptions, now this office is open all of August, all of September because of the heat, and I have fish in there. Okay? And it's my office. I keep it cool. Try to. Now I do have an air conditioning vent, but he made the assumption in his search warrant that it was for climate control of a shed, i.e. grow room. That was one of the multiple felonies that were being committed on this property, right? Okay. Now Mr. Larry Orwee decided that the plants that Detective Haynes said he saw, which obviously he didn't see anything, were illegal in nature, even though he didn't even see them. And here's the other question. Can you tell by looking at a plant that it's illegal or legal? Now look, I'm looking right down the side. You still cannot, there's a post over there where the 3 little plants were outside the greenhouse with a red flag on it. You can't see anything, okay? Now moving on. I purposely put the greenhouse behind this building to block anything, any line of sight from the street. Now walking through, I'm gonna put these away. Okay. Now, this is totally open now. There was a bamboo fencing. Okay, we had a birthday party 4 days beforehand where all the people in the party were over here, bouncy house, everything else. This is all blocked. That was all fenced off with bamboo, and nobody knew anything was there. Nobody. Because I don't tell people what I do. But moving on. Another misrepresentation of facts was Detective Larry Orwee said that it was all flimsy plastic, flimsy material that the kids could just go through. This is a 20 gauge steel animal fencing, and it's clearly not something that you could clearly just go through. All right. There were gates on each thing, a padlocked fence. Even CPS told me that I went above and beyond anything for the kids, 3 times more than what they would recommend for parents who are doing medicinal growing. So anyway, and as you can see, my backyard is completely surrounded by fences. The only possible person that could have seen plants for months is from that window that's right over there. And I've already talked to them, and they've already have an affidavit saying that they never saw anything, never knew anything was over here. And if they did, they're totally cool with medicinal marijuana, and they didn't call the cops. So, you know, somebody who says that they can see into my backyard for months, and this is the lady that has called the cops on me 4 times now, this being the 4th time. She has about 10 feet there of visible fence line that looks directly into an 8-foot plywood wall. Nothing to see. Plus, it's a 2-foot drop down over there. So 2 feet plus 8 feet, that's 10 feet. You'd have to be over 10 feet tall to see on top and over said greenhouse. Now, we're gonna walk through here, through the back. Actually, no. Yeah, let's go this way. We're gonna show you wind direction. The wind today is coming from the southwest, just as it was coming on the day of the event. Now, Detective Haynes was north of my house. He was north, all right? Directly north. Now, you see this? The wind is blowing that way, southwest. The wind is blowing that direction. Detective Haynes is north on the other side of the house. And let's just go ahead, look. So, blows the whole I smelled thing, blows that right out of the water. We're gonna come through, okay? Here's the line. I'm trying to give it the best angle right to the greenhouse. Now that corner right there, that's the infamous white corner that shows up on the police photos. And there are no plants sticking out over there at all, just in this one little section that I allowed them to, because look, it's being blocked by the building, the wall, the gate, the table, the whole shebang. Now look at that string. Again, I'm zooming in, but that string is coming down over the wall at a downward angle. All right, now can you see even going right through my gate? You can't even see the ladder. You can't see over the fence. Heck, you can't even see my neighbor's white fence. And this is at 6'8" tall. This is above my eye vision right now. I'm looking right in line with this wall. Actually, just a little bit under it. Now let's go up, all the way up. That's 7 feet tall. Zooming in, now you can see the top of it. This is at 7 feet tall. At 8 foot tall. At 9 foot tall. So again, you'd have to be really super tall to do what he said he did. I also thought about the neighbors across the way. Again, they can't see anything up and over the fence. Same thing, okay? You could have driven by in a monster truck and not seen anything, because again, it's all about line of sight. Now, look, that flag marks where the 3 little plants were. You couldn't see that red flag when you came in through the gate, just like the police couldn't see the little plants coming through the gate, or any plants sticking out higher than the wall or anything else. It's not even on their own pictures, okay? The only side that had any plants sticking out the top was that side directly right over there, because again, it is blocked by everything. I mean, there is absolutely no way anybody saw that. So again, I had this sticking out as much as the any plants were sticking out, because I know how much they were, but they could have stuck out all the way to here and they still couldn't have seen anything, because again, the table, and again, it shows proof from their own video coming through the gate, they couldn't see anything. Nothing. Even coming right down the alleyway, they still couldn't see anything. So, you know, again, there is no line of sight. I know this neighbor over here. I know the bad neighbor over there. I know the good neighbor behind my house. I know the other neighbor over there. Nobody has line of sight on anything. And definitely not for months, like the eyewitness said, which makes that person a false accuser. And so again, that is definitive proof right there now. Even coming over here, you still can't see the fence. You still can't see Mr. Trump. I mean, boom. Now also, along with smell, you see this hedge that's right down the alley? This is all tomatoes. This is what it was in August as well when they came by. This is almost a 5-foot hedge of tomatoes. And there is a scientific study, the only one done in the world, in the country actually. It's been used in several cases where people, even familiar with the smell of marijuana, 9 out of 10 times mistake it for either tomatoes or misidentify it from trash, etc., etc. So there is that tomato. That's every year. Normally there's big old tomato hedge right over here. It's small because we let the butterfly plant go. And then this whole side of my greenhouse, this area here, is for vegetables, and normally this is all tomatoes. So you know, I don't know if the lady over there looked over and saw a bunch of tomatoes and said they were pot plants. This is the only thing that they could see. And again, tomatoes have been missmelled and misidentified for
a long time, and there is a scientific study, and it's been used in court cases about the smells of marijuana and how misidentified they are. So you got salvia over there that smells like skunk weed, you got tomatoes and all kinds of things, and you also have the trash that sits right over there, and this is where I medicate. So I blow the smoke out this door and, you know, right out. So that's the last thing on the smell. Thank you.